What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 82 of Trail Tales. My name is Kyle O'Grady. I'm a huge hiking nerd, and every single week on this podcast, I chat with other hiking nerds about their experiences on the trail. Or sometimes we don't even talk about their experiences on the trail, and instead we just BS about random backpacking things. And that's what this episode is. Baker Bokorney is back for something, I think it's episode number 8 on Trail Tales, something ridiculous like that. But the theme of this episode was backpacking gear inventions that don't exist, or most of them don't exist anyways. Things that we envision, that we wish existed, that could be cool things that don't exist already. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're looking to get into the backpacking gear game, then maybe you can rip off some of our ideas here, kind of like we ripped off the idea for this from Backpacker Radio in the first place, or at least I did. So that's where the idea came from. I talk about that at the beginning of the episode, but it was really fun. Baker concluded at the end, as you're going to hear, he concluded that my ideas were better than his, which I don't know if I agree with, but I did have some pretty good ideas. I'm going to just humble brag that here for a second, and it was just a really fun episode. Definitely a lot different than most of these, so I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you do. And to Baker, as always, thank you for being my last-minute backup guest, and I'm looking forward to episode number 9 with Baker, which will probably be out soon, as you guys know. Folks, if you like the show and you want to get in touch with me, maybe give me a suggestion for a guest or a trail, something like that, or you just want to say hi, slide into the DMs real quick. At Kyle Hates Hiking is my Instagram handle, and you can also send me an email, trailtalespod@gmail.com. That would be cool. Go check out my YouTube channel as well. Kyle Hates Hiking is the YouTube channel, as many of you know. Link to all this stuff in the show notes. And the Patreon. You got to check out the Trail Tales Patreon. Patreon.com/trailtales. You'll get a sticker, a couple stickers actually, and you'll get access to a video chat with myself and the other Trail Tales Patreon supporters if you join the $5 tier. And most importantly, you're just supporting the show. It's a great thing. Got to support your independent content creators or whatever. Shout out to Margaret, who is the latest Trail Tales Patreon supporter. Please go check that out if you listen to the show a lot, and of course, if you can afford it. And speaking of supporting the show, I have to give a huge thank you to this episode's sponsor, CS Instant Coffee. You guys heard me talk about them in the last few episodes, but seriously, if you are a coffee fanatic, or even if you just drink it every day, you don't even have to be a coffee snob, because I'm certainly not a coffee snob, but if you drink coffee every day, especially while you're on trail, you need to check out CS Instant Coffee. Seriously, do it. Their coffee is amazing. It's way better than that Folgers nonsense or the Starbucks stupid Via whatever things. Those all suck. You got to check out CS Instant Coffee. I was drinking this coffee on my last backpacking trip, just last weekend actually. I was over in the White Mountains in New Hampshire hiking on some pretty rugged trails, some pretty remote, not well maintained trails because they were pretty far out there. And honestly, I don't know if I would have been able to do it if it wasn't for having a big old cup of CS Instant Coffee in the morning to kind of get me through that, because it was some pretty brutal stuff. I like it because they come in these packets, and if you just want one cup, and you just want a small normal size cup of coffee, I guess you can use about half the packet. But if you're like me and you normally drink more than one cup anyways, and you just want to front load that all at the beginning of the day before you hit the trail, you can just use the entire packet in a bigger cup of coffee. Just boil the water in your pot, and yeah, you can just sip on a very strong and very tasty cup of coffee in the morning. I usually add breakfast essentials, the creamer, protein creamer things in there, and in with my coffee, that is. And this coffee is so good that I don't even like to, I still did it honestly, but in the future I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I don't know if I'm even gonna bring the creamer, because the coffee's just so good. I like coffee black, and it's amazing. So thank you so much to CS for sponsoring this episode. Go check them out at the best URL on the internet. It is csinstant.coffee. That's awesome. One more time, csinstant.coffee. You can also check out the link in the show notes. That is a affiliate link, so I will get a little bit of a kickback if you purchase through that link as well. So thank you for checking that out, and thank you to CS Instant Coffee. With that said, let's do it. Episode number 82 of Trail Tales, the backpacking gear invention episode, Backpacker Radio patent pending ripoff episode, whatever you want to call it, with my boy Baker Bokorney. All right, here we go. Episode 82 of Trail Tales and episode probably like 80 of Baker being on the show because he's been on a shit ton of times. Baker, what's up?
Not much. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. This is actually we literally just went over this.
This will be the 8th episode.
The 8th episode. So that's almost 10% of the episodes that we've done. And for anybody who thinks I'm a math genius, I calculated that before this, so that's how I know that.
You got your calculator out. Did you bust out a spreadsheet real quick? Crunch the numbers?
Just freaking went at it. So this episode is going to be a ripoff of a backpacker radio idea, if I'm just going to be honest.
I was going to say, but I wasn't sure. I assumed you were aware of this concept, but...
I am.
And
that's where I got the idea. So for everybody who doesn't know, Backpacker Radio, the most famous hiking podcast in the world. I don't know if they still do it. I don't really listen to that many episodes. I've only heard a couple of them, but at least I know in the past they've done this thing. I think they call it patent pending.
Yeah.
Where they just come up with so what we're going to be doing today is the same thing. They come up with inventions for like backpacking gear, like backpacking gear ideas that don't exist that should exist or are just funny and interesting to talk about. I'm pretty sure they've never done like a full episode dedicated to it like we're about to do. So it's a little bit different in that regard, but full disclosure, I got the idea from them. It's a fucking good idea, and that's why we're doing it.
Full disclosure, I went through every one of their episodes, and I wrote down every idea that they ever mentioned in their patent pending section, and that's what I'm going to be discussing today. So,
which is funny you say that because you're joking, and the next thing I was about to say is that though the concept is ripped off from them 100%, the inventions are not. Well, at least mine aren't. Apparently Baker's are, but...
Mine are definitely, yeah. They all are.
No. Well, yours are ripped off from your wife, though, apparently.
Yes, that actually is true. That is a true disclosure. Most of these, my wife Jessica came up with. So, yeah, she's very inventive when it comes to hiking ideas. So, I was like, I had like 2 ideas, and I was stumped, and I was like, yeah, we're supposed to record this episode where we talk about hiking inventions. And she just started listing them off. And I couldn't even write them down fast enough. So
so awesome.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Is she home?
She's not. She's at work right now.
Oh damn. Okay, so I
know.
Watch her just have like a ridiculous idea, and you like read it, and you're like, I don't actually know what the fuck that means. But
some of these I was rereading, and I'm not entirely sure what they are. So we're just gonna go with it.
Okay, yeah. Sweet. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah, the concept is ripped off from Backpacker Radio, but hopefully the inventions are not. I haven't listened, like I said, maybe there's some inventions they've talked about. I don't even know how many times they've done it that we're going to repeat. I think that'd be a pretty big coincidence if that is the case. I can say that all of these ideas I came up with on my own, even though the theme is ripped off from them. But anyways, that's the disclosure there. Baker, is there anything else that we should say before we just dive right into these ideas?
Well, I guess if anyone listens to Backpacker Radio and if you notice like the same invention mentioned on both podcasts, like let us know because I'd be curious if there was any independent. What's that called? Independent invention? There's a better word for it. It's basically there's this concept of when 2 things are independent discovery. I don't know. It's basically the idea of like 2 things get invented or discovered independently and no one actually copied off each other. Like it's happened like a bunch of times in history for like notable inventions or discoveries. But I'm also curious if you and I have any, because I feel like there's a couple in here that are like super obvious and that like I think a lot of hikers joke about having on trail. At least, like, oh, what if we just have blah blah blah. So I'm kind of curious if some
interesting. I feel like you're not gonna have any. I feel like mine are kind of unique. I also feel like there might be a tiny chance, depending on how ridiculous yours are, that some of these might actually exist and we just don't know too. Like they're just executed really shitty so no one buys them. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I was looking and at least one of these, I actually just gave it a Google because I remembered that like my dad mentioned that even when he was like in Boy Scouts, they had, well, should we just start talking about it? I guess I'm like,
Sure.
Okay. So the first one what I'm talking about is basically a self-pitching tent, like a tent that basically just pops up. Yeah. And so I actually like, rereading this list just before the episode started recording, I remembered my dad mentioned that I feel like he mentioned like a self-assembling tent, and so I just gave it a Google, and it's an actual thing. And the funny thing is, so I'm looking at this video. It's like 1:45. The first like 30 or 20 seconds is showing them how to set it up. The last like minute and a half is all about tearing it down, because imagine this thing that like just wants to pop up. You have to like wrestle it. This guy is like wrestling it to get it back into like into the bag, and it's pretty funny. So I kind of see why thru hikers, or like maybe I can see why like at least thru hikers or people that go backpacking don't use this kind of thing, because it's pretty. It also looks super flimsy. Like if you had any significant amount of wind, because like it's just like those poles that are like. But
Baker, remember the idea here is to use your imagination.
No. So I'm saying that like,
you could make it better, right?
It exists. So yeah, there is a version. I just wanted, like, I should say that this thing
for the version that exists. Okay.
Yeah, it actually does exist, but I don't think it's practical for hiking and/or. It's also like packed down to its smallest size. It's like humongous. Like those like those tubes like that kids have at like parties that you can like run through or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, so it's basically like that. Like it's the kind of thing where you have to like compress it down, and if you like take the pressure off it, it just pops right open. And it just expands everywhere. So it's pretty funny watching this dude like try to wrestle it back into the bag, though.
That is funny. So the way I envision this is almost like Shark Tank. So like that's the idea, and now I'm gonna try to like shoot it down basically, and try to poke holes in it. Even though I highly doubt you're that convinced this is a good idea. But you're gonna have to defend it.
Right.
How the hell are you gonna pack that? If it's already got these built-in poles that you can't remove or whatever, or maybe it does, I don't know. But it just seems like if there's that much structure to it, then it's got to be hard to pack, and it could be heavy too.
Yeah, I'll be honest. You got me there. Like watching this,
you're like, I don't
video.
really care that much. Like, I'm not gonna die on this hill, but fucking.
No, I'll be honest. I don't have any better solution. Like I can see how Coleman made their car camping version of this, but
for car camping, I feel like it could be a good idea, but for backpacking, it'd be a little bit tough, and for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah, I'll admit it's not my best invention. In fact, it's not even my own invention. It's just it was just an independent idea that I didn't give enough thought to figure out a better way to do it.
Was that your idea or Little Bear's idea?
I think that one was Little Bear's.
Okay, so you can just blame it on her.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing here. I'm just
classic.
Anything that sucks, I'm gonna blame on her, and anything that's good, I'm gonna take the credit for. And you guys will never know.
Interesting. Okay, let's go on to my first invention. So this one I'm particularly proud of, but I'm sure there's some holes that you can poke into it. So, I'm trying to picture me like in Shark Tank, like the door's open, I'm walking down, going over to the sharks, and assisting me, I'm using my bear spray trekking poles. Okay. So it sounds stupid, but this could actually be sick. Okay, so I didn't really think about it that much, but I'm just, a can of bear spray isn't that big, so I feel like you could get that same amount of volume, like that same volume of spray onto the trekking pole somewhere, and then you could just have like a little like nozzle like right at the handle, right? Because if you think about it, you're going along, fucking bear comes out. I mean, first of all, half people that carry bear spray don't even have it on their hip like they're supposed to. That probably not half, but some people don't, so it's like useless. But even when it's on your hip, like if you surprise the bear, right? That's when they attack sometimes, a grizzly bear. If you surprise the bear and it's like right next to you, like you're fucked. But if you just had the bear spray right on your trekking pole, and both of them too, so if one fails or you run out, I don't know, you've really got to blast the damn thing.
Dual wielding it.
You could just like, as far as the trigger, I haven't thought that part through yet. There'd have to be some way to make it safe. It'd have to be easy to, shoot it off real quick, because otherwise that defeats the whole purpose. But it'd also have to be safe so that you don't like accidentally spray your hiking partner if you're like going down a hill and you like accidentally, I don't know. So anyways, yeah, bear spray trekking poles. What do you think about that, Baker?
Okay, when you first said that, I thought you meant like a bottle of bear spray so tall that it's like could be used as a trekking pole, and that's why I was laughing. Okay, but so I think the way I understand is you mean you have a trekking pole. Is there a bottle of bear spray just kind of like attached to the outside of it, or is there like a bottle?
It's built in. And I guess you have to like fill it up somehow or something.
Okay, so basically there's some way to like open it up and add in a new refill cartridge type of thing, but then there's a nozzle that's, I don't know, I'm assuming the nozzle's kind of near the top of the handle part.
It'd have to be, yeah.
Okay, and then there's some kind of like, I know there's like bear spray has like a safety mechanism on it. You got to disengage and then you can use it. Okay, all right, this idea is not as bad as I initially.
Bear spray trekking poles.
Well, when you said that, I literally thought it was like, I imagine the longest aluminum can of like red can, and it has just like a metal tip on the end for the crown. Okay. All right. That's a pretty good idea. I would totally fund that. I don't have any money to give you, but no, that's actually a really good idea. Because
I think the biggest issue would be the safety of it, because I feel like you'd have to be very meticulous in how you design the trigger mechanism so that it wouldn't go off accidentally, you know?
Well, yeah, I think that's what the safety would be for, right? Like you need some kind of flip top thing that would be. You wouldn't. I guess I feel like a flip top wouldn't be that easy to disengage like through normal. Like I don't know how often are you like flicking the top of your.
I have no. I've only carried bear spray like once, and I didn't need to use it, thankfully.
Yeah.
So.
Right, but I mean, like, how often are you like flipping the top of like a trekking pole? I don't. I feel like if the safety's on the very top of the handle.
Oh, that's true.
Like that's.
I'll be honest. I actually use the top of my trekking poles a lot. When I go downhill, mine have like the knobs on the end, like the Leckies cork lights they are. And like when I go downhill, I like put my hand on top of the poles and like kind of old man go down the stairs like that. I guess if that makes sense.
Okay, that could. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I don't know why you're on the hook for coming up with the solution to my problem with my product now, but
well, no,
I don't really have much structure to this. So
I actually think it's a good idea. Like, maybe if it was, yeah, it'd be the kind of thing that you could push on. That's true, because also if you consider like shelters that require setting up with a trekking pole, like you usually.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
you're often going to be putting some kind of pressure on it, whether it's upside down on the ground or like you're putting your shelter pushing down on top of the handle. But yeah, I guess if it was like the kind of safety mechanism where pushing down on it didn't cause it to disengage, like that would be okay. You could still retain that part of like a normal trekking pole functionality.
And then you'd also have to be careful if your hand was covering up the nozzle, because then if you go to spray it, it's just gonna get all over your hand and probably screw you over. I feel like making it safe would be very difficult, but
that's
it's a
the
cool
other thing
idea,
is,
I think.
I think that actually has a lot of potential because I mean, if you're carrying trekking poles, even if you have your bear spray accessible like on your hip or a shoulder pouch or something, just having a trekking pole in your hand means you're gonna have to like drop it or move it to the other hand and then grab the bear spray. So yeah, it definitely reduces the time to like be able to access your bear spray. Actually, have you seen like for like alpine skiing, there's those things called whippets, or maybe just mountaineering in general?
No.
It's basically a trekking pole that has an ice axe, like a small ice axe on the handle end of it. So if you lean into the snow and you dig the handle end of the trekking pole into the snow, like there's an ice axe pick that will go in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I mean, it's obviously a different concept, but it's kind of similar in that the kind of the handle part of your trekking pole has like another function to it. I think people use it for like skiing and for other mountaineering type of stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
Snow. So yeah, that's interesting.
Bear spray trekking pole. I guess the only other downside and I'm surprised you didn't say this already, but weight. Your trekking poles would have to weigh more if it has liquid in it and shit. But...
Yeah, I guess the key there would be like you could take it out and just you could take out the canister, right? Like in the same way that you'd only carry bear spray like in grizzly bear country for most people.
Yeah.
As long as you could take it out and take that weight out, then I mean there'd be a little extra weight for like the firing mechanism that's probably built into the pole.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess at a minimum. So I don't know. Another thing I've seen, there's this guy who makes these trekking pole like pockets or like bottle sleeves, and they're basically like a cylindrical thing. Yeah. So you could actually put bear spray into that, and it's basically like it's like a cylindrical pocket that you can attach and like anywhere in your trekking pole. And I've seen people put like kind of lighter things in like gloves or like just like a beanie or like maybe a couple snacks or something. But you can totally put like a bear spray in that pocket, and then that would be like pretty quick access too because it's like right there by your hand. So instead of having to like I think there's some merit to this idea. That's a legit idea.
It's goofy, but it also it might work. I don't know. Definitely people listening, let me know what your thoughts on these are because I think that's funny. All right, Baker, your turn. You're on the hot seat now. What's your second or Little Bear's second idea?
This is the one that I feel like almost every hiker like nowadays must think of this at some point during like a hike, but some sort of like drone delivery for food or supplies. right? Like I feel like
That is,
I feel like,
I never thought about that. Well,
really
I
okay.
no, sorry. Let me say that again. I have thought about that. I didn't think
Yeah.
about it for like this idea though for this episode. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know if it's technically a hiking piece of gear invention, but I was also kind of thinking of like useful services that you could provide. And yeah, like I mean, that would just be so sweet, you know. And there is like there's already things where you can have like I've seen like Andrew Skirko when he did his huge like Alaska expedition thing. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
yeah,
basically,
yeah. Where you
so
basically just circle the state or some crazy shit, right?
yeah, and just pretty much like completely out in the middle of nowhere, no trails for like the vast majority of it. He had like bush planes fly in supplies for him, and they would drop like these huge like metal cylinders in the middle of the woods with all his resupplies, and then the pilot would send him a GPS coordinate of it, and he'd have to go find it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because there's like literally was nowhere to resupply for him when he
Right.
was out there. But yeah, like I feel like on certain trails, like the AT would totally be way more practical. I don't know the practical limitations of like drones in terms of like their battery life, especially when they're carrying weight, because like food is pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But like on the AT, that would totally be doable. Like you could just have a drone come by and like drop off, you know, just fly in and drop it off. Like it could just like land at a shelter and leave it there or something, or like it could even just land right where you are or something. I don't know. I feel like that's like it's almost cheating. It feels like to do that kind of thing.
That's like the first problem I was gonna bring up is I feel like people are not gonna be down with just the concept in general. Like some people are gonna be like, oh, it ruins the experience, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, the sound of drones are like super annoying to listen to.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah, the sound issue, the issue of finding safe places to land. You know,
yeah,
people. I mean, I remember a day. It's not. I feel like this isn't really a thing anymore as much, at least. But I feel like even back when I first started hiking, it was still common for people to say that it's rude to use your cell phone while you're hiking.
yeah,
Let alone a drone.
yeah,
So.
drone. Yeah, no, and I think there's probably a lot of like flying regulations
That's
that
the
would
next thing I was gonna say. Yeah, I know.
probably
And
prevent
I
it.
don't know the exact rules because I don't have a fucking drone. I don't really plan on getting one, but I'm pretty sure in like certain areas, yeah, it's illegal to use them, or you need a permit. I guess if it was a business, they could probably get a permit. But yeah, I feel like it'd be difficult to deal with the regulations like that. Yeah,
Yeah, so I just tore my own idea apart,
it
but
is a cool concept though.
that's
Some
something
sort of
I've thought of a lot. Yeah.
air delivery service for hikers. It'd also be expensive as shit, I'm sure, at least
Oh
at
yeah,
first. But
yeah. You'd have to be a bougie hiker to be able to afford that.
you'd have to be someone who spends $600 on a duplex.
Ooh, got him.
That's so many people. That's not even a funny. Like literally, so many people like have done
So
that.
many
But
people are offended
I
right
just
now.
said it because you've done it, and I just wanted to offend you.
I'm offended, but I accept the offense.
And plus, hitchhiking is fun. Like I don't want to get rid of hitchhiking. You know,
I just a
at least
tangent off of
pre-COVID, it was fun. I don't know. It might
Yeah.
be kind of stressful now. I haven't
That's
done
true.
it, but
It's not as fun now. Actually, a tangent off that idea. That's a far more practical one. I think Little Bear and I also discussed this while we were hiking. So, like sometimes we would get to road crossings and we really just wanted to go into town and out. I mean, really just need to like get supplies. We didn't want to like stay overnight, and we thought it'd be kind of cool to have some kind of like system of lock boxes or lockers like at the common road crossings for like the AT or like other trails.
oh,
And you could have someone in town, like you could basically order ahead and say, this is the things I want from the grocery store or from wherever, or you could mail it to them ahead of time, something like that. And they would basically drop it off in there, and then maybe they give you a code. They text you a code, and you can open up your locker, get your resupply out. I mean, that might be an eyesore, but you could probably hide them or make them like not look so bad. But I think it's similar, like apartment complexes sometimes have these kind of things, like a lockbox where you can put packages in. But yeah, like that for road crossing. So you can actually like not have to go into town, or like people doing FKTs, like they probably love that.
yeah, yeah.
Never having to go into town. So that's maybe more practical, but it's a little different because it's only at road crossings. But that's probably a little more reasonable to accomplish.
Probably. I could still think of some issues with it, but
Yeah.
it's an idea. Let's go on to my next one here. So this one, I feel like this might exist, but I don't know for sure. Definitely not in terms of backpacking, but maybe, I don't know. So anyways, one of the things that I don't like to do is wash my pot after I'm done cooking. And people say, "Oh, you can, use the freezer bag," but like I feel like it just doesn't work as well for the stuff I like to cook. Like mac and cheese, I feel like it'd be tough to cook mac and cheese, and then if it does cook all the way through, it's going to be cold by the time, and maybe I need to do it more, but freezer bag cooking, I don't know. I'm not sold on it. And I'm also not a fan of washing my pot, like I just said. So I wish there was something that you could line your pot with and still cook in it. And that way, when you're done cooking in the pot, you can just peel the liner out and you don't have to wash it. You can just add it to your trash bag and pack it out. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think there's something called slow cooker liners, like if you have a slow cooker at home. So I think there's something for that, but that's a slow cooker specifically. I don't know if it's designed for the heat.
Right, because it'd be a lot hotter.
Yeah, but no, that would be an awesome idea. Like, or if there was, I guess you still have to clean it. But I was wondering if like you could have a non-stick surface in your pot, like a non-stick type of pot. But it would have to be even like non-stick. You still have to kind of clean a little bit. So
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I think that's a great idea because yeah, I don't really use a stove, but definitely Little Bear when we hike together, she brings a stove along, and yeah, she doesn't cook in the pot, so she basically finds mostly foods that you can cook like in the bag themselves. So like the Nora rice sides, you can cook them in those bags.
Oh, they're not as good though, man. They're not as good.
No, it's not as good because it's like soaking in there, and so yeah, she pours hot water and then she has like a koozie or like some sort of insulated pouch that she puts it in that keeps the heat in, and then you wait. But no, it's not the same as like actually putting it in the pot, stirring it up, and like waiting until it's like. And you can't do like pasta and other stuff with that method as well. So yeah, no, that would be a great idea. Like that would be. It would actually, for me, it would make cooking like a lot more, because that's part of it is like I don't want to clean that out, so I'm that's another. It's just another like barrier that makes me want to like not use a stove. So
the other thing is that would be more like weight and trash to carry too. I mean, it wouldn't be that much, but if it's just like soaking wet or just it's got the extra food juice on it or whatever, it would be a little bit heavier. So maybe people would just be like, suck it up and just clean it like a normal person. You can save that weight, but I don't know. I don't like washing my. This is actually the idea that inspired me to do this entire like episode, I guess, or after I heard Backpacker Radio do it, that was like the thing that came to mind for me because I've always thought that would be a good idea. So
yeah,
I want to do it, but it's probably, I don't know. I feel like it'd be kind of sketchy, because there'd be like some sort of chemicals that would probably get into it.
Yeah, that's the thing is
not
like,
if it's executed correctly, but I think it'd be kind of sketchy. I don't know.
Yeah, like I've definitely like made food by like it's in a plastic bag and I just dump hot water in there and I'm like, there's no way that I'm not getting like some plastic or some sort of nasty chemical that's seeping into my ramen when I do this. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing. Like I don't want to deal with cleaning that up. So yeah.
All right. What's your next one, Baker?
All right, this is kind of ridiculous, but
is it your idea or Little Bear?
I think it was kind of both our ideas. We were talking about this. Okay, so those like goofy like umbrella hats that are like kind of small. Okay, so imagine one of those, but it's like a full size umbrella, like a full on humongous umbrella.
It's goofy, but it is kind of good because then you get not that I've ever hiked with an umbrella. I've never hiked out west really, but you get like the benefit of an umbrella, but you can still use your trekking poles or your hands for whatever else. You don't have to freaking hold the damn thing.
Yeah, because and I've also seen where people will take umbrellas and somehow they'll attach them to the shoulder strap of their pack.
Yeah.
But like I'm talking like even bigger than those, because even that like it kind of covers you, but like you still have to like kind of like if you're trying to block out sun, you still kind of gotta like point it in the direction of the sun.
Yeah.
But like if you had a big ass umbrella, like a really big umbrella, like so big it would cover like all the way behind your pack and everything. Like even if you had a downpour, like you would just be sitting under this umbrella.
Oh yeah,
thing.
True. That's sick.
Like how cool would that be? So I mean, there's definitely a lot of problems with this one, but I think it'd be.
Like what? What are the problems? It'd be really
heavy.
Hard. It'd be heavy, yeah. It'd also just be kind of inconvenient, say, when you don't want to wear it, and now you got this fucking huge... You pretty much always have to wear it, or just like... I guess it could collapse or something.
Yeah, it'd have to collapse down, but it would be super unwieldy, too. Like, just imagine, like, you bend down to, like, pick up something on the ground, and, like, if it's that big, you're gonna, like...
True.
It's, it's gonna, like, hit your head, like, on the ground.
Or if you're up on, like, a high summit, it could get blown off easily.
Oh, absolutely. In the wind, yeah, you're just gonna get you're gonna, like, twist your neck, because it's gonna, like, yank your head sideways and stuff, so... There's a lot of problems with it, but I just like the idea of walking one of those like in a downpour and just like being all cozy and dry, like relatively dry in there, just sounds like, I mean, that's great until like sideways wind starts blowing
See,
in,
yeah, I was
guess.
gonna say I feel like it would be better for shade in the sun rather than.
Yeah, maybe
I mean, it
be.
would work for rain, I'm sure, if it was big enough, but it's like you're still gonna get wet, if you're hiking in the rain. So what good is it gonna do at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I guess one thing is like you're definitely going to get kind of damp in the rain, but one nice thing about an umbrella is you're not wearing a rain jacket, which is like soaking in, or not, like it's not locking in all that moisture and getting you all clammy. Like even if you're, I feel like even just having like a little bit of airflow around you, like underneath an umbrella, like it's not keeping you perfectly dry, but it's not, you're not getting like soaked, maybe at
Yeah,
least your torso's not.
yeah, in your gear too.
Yeah, and maybe your backpack as well, like that'd be kind of cool. So
I
but
think
yeah,
it's.
I don't know.
I
It's
think
pretty.
it's got some promise. It'd just be so damn goofy looking.
It would look so dumb,
like
but
until
yeah.
they became like mainstream items. Like the first few people to use those would just be like having to just take the hit in terms of every person they pass being like, nice umbrella, jackass, like or at least asking about it. I would probably make the jackass comment. Normal people would probably be like, oh, that's interesting. Like,
Oh, what's that you got there on your head?
It also might just be kind of uncomfortable. I mean, obviously, like they'd try to make it comfortable, but just having like something, I don't know, that's like swaying and kind of heavy attached to your head for long periods of time might be uncomfortable as well.
Yeah, I the more I like think about like the worse of an idea it is. It's just one of those things that like intuitively I just think, oh, it'd be great if there was like a big umbrella over me. But then I'm like, the reality of it is,
but that's the thing with these ideas. There's always like, these are just rough concepts. There's going to be downsides and things to be worked out with all of these, but it's every great idea starts with a concept and then you work through the problems, right?
Yeah, we're here to find the gems in the rough, and most of this is going to be bad ideas, but feel like there could be some good ones in here. And then we'll publish it. Yeah, then we'll publish it to the world, and someone will steal our idea, and then we won't be able to profit off it at all. So yeah,
I mean, shit, we are putting this out into the public, so maybe we have an incentive to just talk about the most ridiculous ideas.
That's true.
Okay, so my next one. So this one I feel like is the closest out of all of mine to actually being a thing. Like this one could definitely be implemented, I feel like. In fact, the idea came from people who have kind of made their own DIY version of this. I've seen on like Reddit and stuff, but I don't think there's any like actual like brand or model of this. The only ones I've ever seen of this are just people fucking around like when they're way too bored and they're trying to save fucking couple ounces or whatever. So a lot of my ideas, not all of them actually, some of my ideas are like related to trying to save weight. So this one it's just hard to describe, but the problem is camp shoes, right? Like camp shoes are great to have at the end of the day. Like it's so nice, especially when your feet are soaking wet, just have some dry shoes or whatever. Take off your shoes and your socks at the end of the day, but they're heavy, obviously. And at least I haven't been able to find a light enough pair of camp shoes to really make me excited to wear them or excited to bring them, I guess. Most of the ones I see are like half a pound at the least, and if they're anything less than that, they're just like a really shitty pair of flip-flops that just wear out. That's what I wore on the AT, or had on the AT. But I still like camp shoes. So my idea is some sort of, I don't even know how to describe it, some sort of sleeve or structure that is lightweight and compact. And the way it gets its shape for you to wear on your feet is to take the insole out of your shoe and to slide it in, and that gives it like the structure and the padding on the bottom or something. But then like the rest of it would be like, I don't know, like you could use it on your foot. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. Yeah.
I think that would be a good idea. Because it would be lighter than normal camp shoes. Because obviously the bulk of the weight that comes in shoes is just like the solid, fucking material. And you don't really need like a big heavy duty pair of camp shoes either. Just like a little pair of flip flops is fine. And so if you just remove the need for the solid heavy part on the flip-flops and make up for that with the insole from your shoe somehow, then I think that could work. I don't know. What do you think?
No, that makes a lot of sense actually. I've seen something, it's kind of tangential to this, so maybe I don't know if this is helpful or not, but I saw someone who was like bikepacking for his camp shoes. They basically were like a pair of socks, but the bottom, like the sole, was at least, it wasn't, I don't think it was necessarily padded, but it had like some kind of rubber or some sort of maybe more like sticky and grippy type of.
Oh, I've
like,
seen those too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember what they're called though.
Yeah, it's not like those Vibram, not the what are those shoes that are like the
Yeah, these are more closer to socks than
yeah,
shoes.
they really look like socks, but just the bottom has a little more grip, so you're not like maybe it's slightly more durable. But the thing I thought about that is like, does that I don't know, like I don't use camp shoes, but in your opinion, does that defeat the purpose of camp shoes because you want to not be wearing socks on your feet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Or
kind of what I
just
thought.
you might as well just I don't know, just use your socks at that point. Just the socks you're
Yeah,
already carrying. So
right. But no, so yeah, I think your idea is actually is pretty smart though because the thing that like I feel like would be is nice about a camp shoe is like the whole I mean, it's like the sandal aspect of it, right? It's like the fact that you can kind of breathe. So some kind of sandal, whether it be a flip flop or just a simple one that can like strap around your ankle, or whatever. But you're saying the sole, like maybe there's like a sleeve or something in the bottom. You just take the insert from your shoe, slide it in there, and that kind of gives it. At least you have like a. It's not like a full shoe, but it's like more padding at least. It's not. It's better than
yeah,
just walking barefoot around.
yeah, it would hopefully be more comfortable and safer for your feet than just walking around barefoot or just walking around in your socks or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the idea behind it, anyways. So I don't
And
know.
you've seen people who have made this kind of thing.
I feel like on our ultralight on Reddit I've seen this before, or maybe not. Okay, so maybe not taking your existing insole and using that, but I've definitely seen people just take maybe like a pair of insoles that they didn't need anymore and then make a camp shoe out of those, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen like a multi-purpose one like I'm envisioning here, but
Yeah.
I think it could
So
work.
this kind of reminds me of, um, so my friend Joseph, trail name Sweatlines, who you interviewed like way
Hmm.
back when so I used to work with him before we both happened to quit the same year and go hiking. Yeah, that was like a strange
I remember we
coincidence.
talked about that on like our first episode or something.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But so he used to wear these sandals, and they're from Zero Shoes, like XERO, and these sandals are like super minimal. They are like a very very thin sole. The sole's like completely flexible, where it basically can just like fold in on itself. And the upper part, the actual sandal part, like it looks like it's made out of like shock cord or paracord, like I'm looking at right now. But he used to wear those to work, and people would make fun of it at work. They call them his hobo sandals. And so, but that kind of makes me think of like your idea because I mean these probably had a little more like of some kind of rubber or something on the bottom, but they can't be more than. I mean, honestly, they didn't have much more padding than just like the insole of a shoe. So yeah, if you could somehow, or even just maybe like like a bunch of clips or something to just like if you had like the carried the upper part of sandal, like the part that went on top of your foot,
Yeah, yeah.
and you could just like clip it somehow onto the actual sole of the shoe, and then turn that of the shoe into like a very minimal shoe itself. I
Something
don't know.
like that.
Yeah,
I guess the problem would be you could potentially like mess up your insoles, if you're
yeah,
just wearing them like there'd have to be something underneath it. Like you couldn't just be the bottom of the insole that's like making contact with the ground. There'd have to be something because I feel like you could like easily puncture like rip your insoles if that was the case, and then you'd be like stupid fucking things like now I can't even use my shoes or whatever.
yeah. I guess if you're walking around that much, you think you're gonna like tear the insole, then you probably should just put your normal. I mean, you'd have to know to like I just gotta put my shoes on. Like you basically would just use this to walk around like basically from
Yeah.
from cooking dinner to like back to your shelter or whatever.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know. I think
but
it's an idea worth exploring though.
no,
Um,
you have all these good ideas. All of mine are like completely impractical.
what's your go through your list and give me your best idea right now?
The best one,
The best one.
honestly, most of these are these are all great ideas. I just don't like not all great ideas. A lot of them are really good ideas, but I don't know how they be practical or not. Like I don't know how they. I'm pretty sure there's like a way that they could be done, but I don't know if they're actually like you seem like your ideas are much more tangible. Like they have like you could imagine how they'd be built kind of thing. Okay, so here's one that maybe there's some ways to do this. So a self-filtering water filter. So similar to like any sort of squeeze or any sort of system where you're pushing water through a filter. And for some reason, Little Bear specified she did not mean a gravity filter, like not.
I was gonna
through,
say that's the first thing that popped into my head when you said that.
I don't know what she means by that. I think what she means is like she just wants it to be able to like I don't know,
work
filter.
without having to hang it from a fucking tree or something.
Yeah, you don't even need to hang it and wait. Like it just somehow pushes itself through.
So it'd have to be like powered by something.
I guess so, yeah. And so I don't know that, but again, like that's a great idea. But it has no. I don't have. We don't have like a practical. I don't have any practical ideas on how, unless it's just like purely powered by like a battery that you have to charge up.
Which would be, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Which would add more weight and add more things to charge and
More things
just
to break.
more of a hassle. So I'm gonna for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. All these are. I mean, I guess they're okay.
Just shot you down there.
I do. Okay, you go next. The next one I have is a really good one. You're gonna like.
Well, that was pretty quick though. That was pretty quick. Go again. We spent like 10 minutes
right.
talking about my last one. So
Okay, so again, this is about saving weight, multi-purpose stuff like that. So whenever I'm like looking at like my poop trowel, I'm like, man, this thing is like it's almost like a spoon, but it's just like a little too big.
Oh God.
To be a spoon, right? But and then I look at my spoon and I'm like, this thing's almost like a trowel, but it's like a little too small. Like you could use it as a trowel, but it's just like a little too small for that, right? So what you really need is something that when you're digging a cat hole, it can be larger to like get more leverage and shift more dirt for every scoop. And then when you want to eat your food at the end of the night, you can convert it into a smaller thing that is more easily usable to fit inside your mouth and everything. So what I'm imagining is it's a trowel spoon hybrid type of thing. So you have some sort of like expanding and collapsible wings on it, and so you expand these wings out, it widens the whole system out, and now you got a really good trowel. So you're digging your hole in the morning, and you make a nice big hole. It's great, and you're kind of like sitting there squatting it out, waiting. And while you're waiting, you fold these wings back in. It becomes a nice, slender, slim spoon profile. And while you're at your cat hole, you can start eating your oatmeal, in the morning. I mean, and think of the weight savings on that. I mean, you just wouldn't it would be like those two items in half. You just you'd go from like maybe 3 ounces total for a spoon, and this thing maybe it's like 2.5 ounces. Like you could save like a half an ounce easily on that. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. But the biggest problem with this is it's going to be hard to market, right? See, I'm really going into Shark Tank mode here.
To who? Are you ultralight or not? Do you care about ounces or not? I mean, that's
it's
the
like,
only marketing
even though
you
you're not going to be even though the trowel spoon will never be in contact with the feces, ideally.
Well, why wouldn't it be?
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I mean, you can't guarantee that, and it's okay if it is. Well, that's right? It's not a big deal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people wouldn't want to have any possibility of their trowel or their eating utensil to come.
It's not a big deal. It's not a deal breaker if it does get. If you get a little
for you, maybe.
Well, I mean, it's just a little bit. It's a little feces. It happens, right? Shit happens. They say that. It's a saying.
That could be the slogan.
There you go. That's the name of it. We already came up with the name and the slogan and everything. Yeah. So it's a pretty good idea. Huh?
I don't think it's. I mean, it is a good idea, kind of, but it's just. That's gonna be a no for me, dog. I can't risk having my utensil that I need to put in my mouth also coming in contact with the things that started in my mouth and ended up in a cat hole.
I mean, it's a full circle system. So I don't really. I mean, it's all part of the same system. Like I just don't see what the big deal is, as you just described.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
I mean, it's okay. Like only really hardcore ultralight people.
Like in like principle, you are like you could combine those two things. Like you're not wrong about the ability of it to be done. It's just fucking gross.
Well, I mean, again, it's only for people who really care about ultralight. If you're the
like
kind
Jupiter?
of person, well, no, if you want to carry a bunch of extra heavy stuff like a spoon and a trowel, then that's cool. Like you can, be that kind of hiker. But if you're like a real deal hiker and you really want to save some weight, it's not going to be for the plebes out there, I guess is what I'm saying. It's for an elite class of hikers.
Or you could just not carry a trowel at all and use a stick like me.
I mean, I guess if you really, really want to, or you could just surface poop too. That's saves time and not have to carry a trowel. That's a good idea, right?
No, don't do it. Nah, you can't do that. It's against leave no trace, bro.
Well, I mean, dogs do it, so.
That's true, but dogs aren't guided by a moral compass like we are.
we've had this discussion before. I know, I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to remember if it was the trail grievances. I think we were talking about when people bag their dog poop and leave it on the
Oh
side of
my
the trail
God, I
as if
fucking
that's
hate
like
that.
acceptable. Yeah.
That's so annoying. Fuck those
No,
people.
no, obviously this idea is terrible, but I have thought many times. I'm looking at my spoon. I'm like, this is basically a small trowel. Like I've thought
It
that
is
plenty
true.
of times,
It is true.
but
Because
I
I
would
mean, in
never
theory,
do
you
that.
could use anything to dig it as long as you can dig the hole successfully with it.
I mean, I
But
do know that the Deuce of Spades also markets itself as a tent stake. So like they
oh,
claim
really?
you could use it as a tent stake, which yeah, I could see that. Like if you could actually get it like far enough into the ground, that's why there's like a I think that's why there's like a hole on the end of it. I think it's meant for like putting a guy line through. So that's
Interesting.
probably a much more reasonable. That's probably a better multi-purpose thing. Although if you have to like get up in the middle of the night and you need your trowel, then you may have to like take your shelter might
Yeah,
partially
yeah.
fall down if you have to take
Maybe
that
just
out.
as like a back. I feel like they probably. I don't know this for sure, but I feel like they probably would say like as a backup tent stake, not like a like definitely use this as one of your tent stakes. Save the weight of fucking what like I don't even know how much a tent stake weighs, but
Yeah, 1 ounce or
I
less
don't
or
know.
something. Yeah. Or no, way less than an ounce. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea in principle. A near
In theory.
impossible idea. Impossible to have anybody actually use it.
It'll be something that I will make, and I could never sell it, but I could use it for myself.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
That's
Let me
about
know, anybody listening. Let me know if you would use that.
a potential market of one person.
Yeah, at least one person. I guess it starts with one person, though, right? My next one here. This is one I actually just thought of on my last backpacking trip because the bugs were really bad, and I don't know. It would be this would be something a UL hiker would not take, but some sort of little attachment to your canisters, like the canisters that you use for cooking, like some sort of tiny little attachment, and then you could somehow like light it and it would emit some sort of spray or something that would keep bugs away. If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. That's interesting. Actually, Little Bear had a similar idea, which was she called it a virtual campfire, which just produces the smoke.
Oh, that's kind of cool too, actually.
Because she was thinking of like in areas that where you get fire bans and stuff, like pretty commonly in the summer. That's like for her making a campfire, she uses that a lot to keep bugs away. But if you can't actually make a fire, like usually you're allowed to use like a stove, like what you're saying. But you can't like start fires that don't have an ignition off port essentially or switch. So yeah, I think something like either spray, like what you're saying, or like smoke, something that would deter the bugs. And so I was not sure about the virtual campfire. I was like, I don't know what that exactly would entail, but that's a really smart idea using your fuel can, which you're already going to have, to somehow use that as the fuel source for whatever it is you're emitting to ward the bugs off.
Exactly. I guess the downside would be it's multi-purpose in that you're using your fuel can, but it's also going to lose, cost you more weight because you're going to need more fuel,
Yeah. I mean, it would definitely cost a little more. It would definitely cost a little more weight, but I feel like it could be. I feel like the device could be about as small as a stove itself. I don't really know what. I don't know. The thing is, I'm not sure.
That's how I envision it. I envision it as just like a tiny little, the size of like the smallest little canister stoves, like the BRS one that I have, one of the Amazon ones. Thing's tiny, weighs like an ounce or whatever.
So, like, what would this mosquito? The only thing about is this like a chemical spray that's like keeping bugs away?
I have no idea. I mean, it would have to. The gas would have to be useful somehow. So I don't know if it would mean that would just be used to like burn something. But then if that was the case, why don't you just bring like what are those things called? Incense or whatever. Just like the little.
Yeah.
I don't know.
True.
There's probably bug repellent incense out there. I don't fucking know. But
there's like citronella candles. And
yeah,
stuff.
exactly, something like that. So I don't know what the.
So maybe it's like a citronella thing that's like. I don't know. I guess you could just bring a candle, but candles are. I feel like a candle is going to be heavier. I don't know. Is there some kind of like
you could like liquefy it or not? Make it gas. Make it gas.
Yeah, like is there some kind of aerosolized like citronella or something that you put on your? I don't know. I mean, the only thing is like I feel like it would take a lot. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I wonder if it would waste a lot of fuel to keep it because I feel like
you'd have to have it just barely going, otherwise you're right, it would just fucking blow through the fuel.
And I think it has to be like consistently going too. Like if I'm if I'm thinking of like
Yeah,
what it is
yeah,
about
it would.
a fire, like what it is about a fire that keeps bugs away, like it's probably like, I feel like if the smoke just goes away, the bugs are going to come back. I assume it's the consistent amount of smoke. I actually don't even know what it is about smoke that wards off mosquitoes. Maybe it just makes it hard for them to like fly through it or like navigate or like see or anything.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's an interesting idea. Like
I feel like it's
something...
one of those. Again, these are all kind of like this, but especially this one, it's like just a theory. It's not even like a like. There's so much to it. I don't even know if it's possible, but you got to start somewhere. So every idea has some downsides. So that's just something that I thought of the other day while I was eating dinner, and I was like, "Fuck! I got this flame right here. I feel like I could do something with that to get rid of these damn bugs." But I don't know.
Yeah, there's got to be some way to do it.
What's your next one, Baker?
All right, so you know how like when you're in high school or whatever, and you have like those pocket calculators, and the batteries, like you don't really put batteries in them because they have a solar panel like on them. You know what I'm talking about?
A solar? Oh yeah, actually.
I mean,
yes,
most people probably
I forgot
don't
about
even...
these. I feel like kids that are young that are listening to this, which is probably zero, but in the future, if that ever happens, they're gonna be like just used to using their phones and shit. But I do remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think a lot of people don't even really know that there's necessarily a solar panel because it's just like a small strip.
Honestly,
of like
I kind of forgot about it.
reflective...
I didn't know what you were talking about for like the first second there, but I got it now.
Yeah, it's a small like reflective strip. It usually looks kind of like brown or
Yeah.
purplish, and like it kind of reflects
Just, like,
different
has
colors.
some bars or whatever on it.
Yeah, and so and if you do like cover it up with your finger, eventually the calculator will die. But it basically it runs off of just basically the light. You know, it's like it could be any sort of light, just even like a light, an overhead light inside the classroom would power it. So like Little Bear's idea on this one was a solar powered device, not like a solar powered battery where you have to have a big solar panel, but basically like a device, like your phone. Imagine your phone, maybe the whole backside of it is like a solar panel. And so you could charge it. It could be sitting at a sunny spot and just lay it out with the backside
be like attached
up
to a case, and that would plug into the phone.
Well, no. It's literally like the solar panel is on the phone. Like the backside of your phone is just like a solar panel, and so it in the same way that those solar powered calculators had a solar panel built into them.
Like,
yeah,
it could work both ways, honestly. You could do a case or just have it right on the phone. Yeah,
right. You could have a device or something like that, but I mean, because people have those like big solar panel things that you like unfold or whatever. But I don't know. It'd just be kind of cool to have it like built right in there. And I guess the independent solar panels are maybe a little more useful because you can use them to charge like different devices. But I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. Just whip your phone out, lay it down on the ground like at a sunny spot, and like it's just charging. Or like if your headlamp could have like a solar strip right on top of it.
I feel like the headlamp would be more realistic because with the phones, I mean, again, there's problems with all these, but isn't it probably not a good idea to just leave your phone baking in the sun for like a long period of time?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's not great for the battery or something like that. I think probably more likely the most unrealistic part about this, like I'm not an electrical engineer, but I assume that the amount of power you'd be getting from a solar panel, like the size of with the area of your phone, is probably not really nearly enough to actually practically charge it.
But maybe someday, as the technology gets better.
Yeah, that's my hope is that like if you could somehow, I mean, eventually like if solar panels were that good, then your phone could just be like, or maybe even just like any sort of ambient light that it gets would be enough to charge it. Like if you had super efficient batteries and super efficient.
See, that's your best idea panels so far, Baker, and that's not just something. It would be incredibly useful for hikers, but that's something that you could market to just anybody.
That's true. That goes beyond just like just hiking. Yeah, that was Little Bear's idea to be fair.
It's a good idea though.
I'm just saying, it was my
idea. I guarantee you there's a patent for that already. Like there has to be.
Yeah. That's true. That's just like too good of it. It just makes too much sense.
Yeah, it does. That's a good idea though. I like that. Probably better than the next idea that I'm about to bring up. And this is pure theory. I have no fucking idea how this would be possible.
Okay.
So there might not even be much to say about this one, honestly. But this is a thing I've always wanted. A tent that somehow with the poles or something attached to it is protective against lightning.
Huh.
The only thing I can think of is I've heard of like lightning poles, which basically I think the idea is it attracts the lightning to a certain area so that it doesn't strike a vulnerable area.
Well, I mean, I think the idea behind like lightning poles is so they there's a pole, and then it's actually attached to a cable or something that's grounded.
And then it grounds
to
it.
some.
Yeah, okay.
So your
I
idea
just
is
sound
actually
like a fucking idiot. Should I tell
no.
Patrick to cut that out? Nah, we'll leave it.
No. Like your idea actually makes sense in that context. Like if you could, like you would have to have some kind of cable. So you'd have like your tent or your shelter, and then on top of it is like a pole sticking up, and then it has a cable going off it, and you just have to, when you set your tent up, you'd have to like basically bury it in the ground to ground it somewhere. I'm sure someone who knows like
or even better, it could somehow just be built into the tent poles themselves, right?
Yeah, that's
and then
possible
you'd have
too.
to like get the tent poles. I don't know how to ground them, get them into the ground or something like that. But
yeah,
I've always wished when I was in like lightning storms, there was just like a safe space from lightning. You know, like I think lightning scares the shit out of me, and so
no, it's as it should.
I would love to be able to know that I was safe by just setting up a tent and like getting inside it. I don't know.
No, I feel like the idea, I don't know. Honestly, my grasp of electricity is definitely not strong enough to make this statement. But I'm going to go ahead and say that that's not the like. There's actually like I feel like the same principles that you use to, because like usually it'd be like buildings and stuff like that have these big lightning poles on them, and it's for the reason you just said. It's to attract the lightning to that, but then it essentially diverts the electricity to a safe place. But
and then you could use the electricity to charge your phone.
Oh, there we go. Oh, so you actually would be going out trying to get hit by lightning.
Yeah, someone's like, shit, man, I hope there's a lightning storm up here on this ridge line. I really need to charge my phone.
I mean, like in Colorado in the summer, that could absolutely be a reliable way to get power.
It's like, I don't know. I think the issue is it would just be heavy. Like, there's no way that wouldn't be heavy, right?
Yeah, the cable and the pole would definitely be.
So I think the thing that's holding it back isn't so much making it happen, but rather it's just not practical yet. You know, like it just would be too heavy to carry.
Yeah. Also, when you said like the tent poles could divert the electricity, what if you're like leaning against one, like against the wall of your shelter?
There'd
like
have to be some sort of way to make it. Yeah, I don't know.
And I also imagine that when I feel like if you're that close to the actual tent pole or even the cable where like this power is being diverted, if it's like that strong of an electrical current or whatever, it might just arc and jump into you and then just like you get baked as well. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not honestly. I don't know the design of like how those lightning rods are set up and like how they make sure that the electricity doesn't go anywhere else.
Let me Google it. Just like what would I Google? Lightning.
Yeah, like lightning rod.
Lightning safe tent.
Oh, or that too. Yeah, I mean it might be a thing.
See, I also feel like it's kind of a solution in search of a problem because I don't think that many people are getting struck by lightning while they're in their tents. You know, it's usually people up on tree line or up above tree line on a ridge.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like if you put your tent
like
up
most
there,
of the time it's fine. I just found this article. It says lightning proof bolt tents will keep you safe in a storm.
Okay.
It looks pretty damn hefty though. I don't know, I'm sure it's heavy as shit, but
I actually, more than hiking, I could see this more than like backpacking specifically. I could see this being really useful for like mountaineering. So like if you think of like Everest Base Camp when they put these tents up and they're there for like weeks at a time while they're waiting, and like they're so far above tree line, like they don't have anywhere to go when there's an electrical storm coming around. So I feel like in a more permanent tent, it could be heavier too, like because you only need to set it up. You set it up a lot less frequently. But yeah, it actually could be probably really useful there because that's a situation where like, you know, you can't just pick up your stuff and go down below tree line. Like if you camped up on a ridge and you were hoping to get a good sunset, but then a storm rolls in, you know, you could just pick your stuff up, run down to tree line, hopefully if there's some nearby. But if you're like doing some kind of like mountaineering expedition and you're like way above tree line, you're stuck up there, there's probably not really that kind of option. So yeah, that actually would probably be a really useful use case for what you're describing.
What about, and this is way too simple to if it was possible it would exist, I feel like, but even better, just something you can just stand on or sit on that would like ground you somehow and make you not be able to get struck by lightning. I don't know. Electrical engineers, anybody out there, let me know.
Yeah, my knowledge is not strong enough, but I feel like it could be a thing.
I feel like it would exist already. Maybe it does. I don't fucking know. Anyways, yeah, we probably got time for like one more each. So Pick your last one, Baker. What's your final idea?
Okay.
You can take a second. You can take a second.
Do I need to pick the one that I think? I don't know. Okay. All right. So this is an idea that's kind of like your tent idea. I don't know if it has I can't think of a great implementation, but if this was somehow a thing, it would be awesome. This is a little bear idea. This is a self-hanging bear bag.
Okay, interesting.
Because like hanging a bear bag, at least for me, is like I despise doing it. Like I'd almost rather fight a bear than have to hang my food.
Yeah,
at night.
just defend your food.
Yeah, I'd rather just go face to face with the bear. But yeah, it's like because I don't know, it's just such a pain to like set it up and it gets caught in branches and stuff like that. So I don't really know what this would look like, honestly. But I don't know if it's like you put it on the ground and it somehow launches itself over, or if it like is it like a small mini drone that like flies it directly over and it like weaves its way through all the branches and avoids all that stuff? Is it I don't know. Is it something that like it's like a spider crawly type thing that you put it and it crawls up the tree and then crawls out in the limb and then like hangs the line there? Like I don't know what like I don't know, or maybe it's just a remote control like spider crawly thing. I don't know. I don't know what this would look like or if this is even practical at all. But this is like I don't know. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. I would probably end up hanging my food more often if I didn't have to actually try hard to do it.
I agree. I don't know how this would happen either, but it would be nice to have something that could do that for you. Yeah, that'd be tight.
Yeah, but again, I don't have any great ideas. It's even less practical or it's even less concrete than your tent idea. At least we had like some theories on it, but I got nothing. I just got like wild, crazy ideas on how it maybe could be done. It's
a good idea in theory. No fucking idea how it could happen. But yeah, that's okay. That's okay. If anybody has an idea of how to make that happen, let me know. So my last one, this is a dumb one. This is just stupid. No one would ever do this, but I thought of it today and I thought it was kind of funny. So multi-purpose, save weight, gotta save weight. One thing I was thinking about is how you carry a headlamp, but you also have a flashlight on your cell phone, right? So why don't you come up with some sort of band or clip that you can put your phone onto and then put that on your head and use that as your headlamp?
I mean, they have like those armbands I've seen that people can get for your phone that like people use when they're running
like
or whatever.
Or shit, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you could just put that right on your. Yeah, why not? Just put it right on your forehead.
And then even better if it has a little battery in it and you can like charge your phone so that it doesn't just like run out of battery like while you're using it. You know, it could use the battery from the thing instead of the battery from your phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but yeah, if it has another battery with it, then. Well, no, it doesn't even do that. It has like a slot for your battery pack, which you're probably already carrying, and then it has another slot for or you can just have a really long cable. If you have a long enough cable, your battery pack is like in your hip belt or something, or in the outside of your pack on the back or something, or in a side pocket, and you run a long cable up to your head. I feel like I've heard of someone had to do this when the battery on their headlamp died, and they had like just the kind where you replace the batteries.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like I've heard of someone doing this kind of thing or something like that. I know I saw someone put his phone in his shoulder strap pocket to do that because he had it. I think that's what he did. I think he put it in his shoulder strap pocket.
Okay.
Because he was stuck using he lost or something happened to his headlamp, and so he stuck in his shoulder strap pocket his phone, and he used the light from it to hike. But yeah, that would be pretty. It would look super cool though too. Like if it was on your head.
You could also use it as like a. You think about like the GoPro mounts.
Oh yeah,
you can put on your head. You could you could like record video from it too.
You could like GoPro yourself walking all day. Yeah, that'd be some riveting footage.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so funny.
You should do that for your next video, just head mounted. Like
I'm sure people would love that. Yeah.
You're just I'm gonna here's like 48 hours of just me walking through the woods.
Just film the entire trip, just to prove that you did it, you know.
Just live stream it later, you know, like I'm gonna live stream this on Twitch, me walking around in the woods and hiking.
That's so funny. Actually, I have one more bonus item that's very simple, and this one could literally be implemented today. A tent, but it comes with little like ambient lights attached to it, like on the inside. Oh,
that's a thing that exists.
Does it?
Yeah,
for like a backpacking tent.
Yeah, I don't know if it still exists, but Big Agnes has what do they call it? They have a. Excuse my typing. I'm almost positive they have a tent. Like I'm almost positive they have a tent that comes with lights in it. It's like the lights are strung up through the I don't know, but yeah, it's a thing. Sorry to steal your thunder, but Big Agnes has done it. It's called like the Lumen. It has like Lumen in the name or Lumen something. I don't remember, but yeah, that's a great idea. Like I remember when I ordered my first Big Agnes like way back when they had Mountain Glow. That's what it's called. MTN Glow. Yep. And so it's basically, I think you attach I think you bring your own battery or something, but the lights are basically, yeah, they're basically built right into, yeah, it's got like LED lights like built into it.
Let me look it up. Mountain Glow?
Yeah, MTN GLO. If you just search like Big Agnes MTN GLO. Yeah. I'm trying to find a photo of the actual lights in there.
Yeah, this is literally exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, they should come up with some sort of strip that you can. So it's built into the tent. It's not attached separately.
I think so. Okay, actually, it requires 3 AAA batteries. Yeah, I'm trying to find an actual photo one here of what it looks like. But yeah, I'm like almost positive it's like built into.
Because you could easily make like just the lighting, and then just use it for a different. Oh, I actually see it right here.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could even bring your own like string lights. Like they have those. Yeah, it's basically what it looks like. It's like a string light. Maybe it is separate. Oh, it is. I'm sorry.
This product is no longer available.
Yeah,
well, I guess it didn't go very well then.
Yeah, I imagine it's not. Okay, I take that back. I'm watching a video now, and they're basically stringing it up. It's basically a set of lights that. Although there's some tents that say they're a Mountain Glow. This is an accessory kit, but this one has I feel like this one maybe it's. Yeah, this is a built-in one. They have a tent that's a built-in one, but I think it's on sale, and I don't know if it's going to be discontinued or not.
I don't know. Well, that would be easy enough to just make on your own, honestly.
That'd be pretty cool.
All right, I think that's going to do it then, Baker. Any parting thoughts? No,
you had the best inventions. I'm going to say, like I feel like I did not bring very many good inventions to the table. Obviously, excluding the trowel spoon hybrid, like that's obviously that's a slam dunk in my book. But I think the rest of yours were actually quite practical. And see, I had a lot more, but it was yours were better ideas. It was a quality versus quantity type situation. I think you had some really quality ideas, and maybe some of these on this list are actually better than I thought. But I just don't have any practical ways of like. Okay, all right. Let me just throw one out there. That's like really. This was like so funny. So this is a little bit idea too, and I think it's so funny. Some kind of robotic arm that's like sitting on your pack that like feeds you snacks and like brings your water bottle up to your face whenever you're. Like how funny. How great would that be? It's almost as goofy as like the giant hat umbrella. I feel like. That's like that could be a thing, right? You just reach in your pack.
So heavy though, dude.
Oh,
so heavy. See, I tried to make my ideas like not ridiculously heavy, I guess. Just like I tried to make them, I guess practical, but I don't know.
Okay, here's a really good, well not last, but here's another really good idea is some sort of device that you poop into it and it converts your poop into energy and then right? I mean, that's like think of how much energy you're just like literally throwing away and burying in the ground every day. You could just poop into this thing, and it would just like somehow it would just burn your poop all day long. So you would just have this. First of all, bears would never come near you,
or other hikers for that matter.
Yeah, you'd absolutely get the wilderness isolated experience that you were looking for. It's just like this big thing burning poop all day, sitting on your pack, and then you're charging your devices while you're at it.
That's so funny. Damn, Little Bear's got all the ideas.
Should I just? I'm gonna just rapid fire the rest.
Okay,
of these.
do them.
Okay, so another one is some kind of like really nasty spray that you spray all over your food bag, and then bears you don't even need to hang it.
I thought of this actually.
They don't even need to come
I
here.
didn't write it down, but I was thinking about this one earlier.
My first idea was just to like smear. I guess a lot of these are poop based. I just have like a 4th grade mind. We just smear some poop all over. It's like a bag that you just like you smear the poop on, and then the bears don't go near your food. And then when you're done, you like inside out it. And then you keep that bag for the day, and then you flip it out again, and then you smear your latest round of poop on there. It's kind of hard to like get the timing with getting the poop and the smearing at the same time, but let's see. Okay, a tent that is also a pack. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would. That would be like a tarp. It'd be like a tarp, but you also could just like roll it up into a pack, and it just has all your stuff in it.
Yeah, that's multi-purpose. I could see that.
Yep. This was actually there's probably a good use for this, but some sort of headlamp which doesn't glare into your glasses. I guess Little Bear wears glasses, and this is a problem she has where headlamps that she's wearing on her head throw a glare into her glasses. So I don't know if there were maybe some kind of like screen or something that prevented the beams of light from going directly down. I don't know. Let's see if there's any other ones. Clothes that never smell. I mean, that just sounds like a wish. I don't even know that's an invention. That would be
clothes that never. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds great in theory, but it's like I guess you just have to. But yeah, that'd be a great invention if you. It's like merino, but it actually like really, really never smells after a long time. And then like waterproof fabrics that are actually directional, so they actually really breathe out from one way, but then the other way they never let water in. Like those are just basically like someone needs to invent some better materials to make those happen.
Pretty much.
So yeah, like I said, we had a lot of random ideas, but I think a lot of yours were actually much more they're much more realistic to implement.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for doing this so last minute. Maybe if we had more time, you would have gotten better ideas. But I mean, no, those weren't all bad. The poop trowel or the spork poop trowel thing. That's funny as shit.
That's a real winner right there.
All right, Baker. Do you even need to plug your stuff? Do you want to plug your stuff?
I'll plug it, but I haven't posted on Instagram, and like I don't.
People are probably like, dude, I'm not gonna fucking follow this. Like, I don't care. Like,
the only time I go on Instagram is when you message me, say, "Hey, were you doing another episode of Trail Tales?"
Because I couldn't find a guest, or my guest canceled on me, which is what happened this time. So that's why Baker comes on so much. He's like my. First of all, we always have great episodes. It's like some of my favorite are the Baker episodes. They always do pretty well too. But whenever I like have somebody or whenever I can't get an episode together in time, whether that's like somebody canceled on me like this week, or I just can't find a guest, just hit up Baker, and then we do some goofy shit.
I'm down with that. So yeah, that's the main use for Instagram, is to receive messages from you to know that it's time to do another episode. So, but yeah, if people want to look at my old posts, there's nothing new, but if they want to go back and look at old ones, it's at BBOKORNEY.
Nice.
Is my handle.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it. Thanks to CS for sponsoring this episode. Go check them out. And yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Baker.
Bye.